Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulullah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi man walah. Welcome back to another episode in the shade of Ramadan. We're going to discuss today what happened after the story of the trench. So 20,000 people actually were killed. One person managed to survive, and that person was named Daws Dhu Tha'laban. So this person, who was the only one who survived the 20,000 people, actually then ran away, walking actually all the way to the king of the Romans, the Caesar, the Caesar, and he described to him what happened, because those people basically were Christians, supposedly like he was. He told him of what happened, and the Caesar said, well, basically your land is too far, we don't care about that, and you didn't have any oil at that time. So he went there, basically there, and then he told him that, why don't you go basically to the king of Abyssinia, and Najashi. The Najashi is one of our allies, and I'll send a message with you, and then he's a devoted religious person, so he'll help you out. And then true enough, that's really what happened. So that Daws went to the Najashi and sent an army of 70,000 people to Yemen, basically to punish what that king, or to basically take over his land. And that army was led by a person named Aryat. And one of the commanders in that army was named Abraha. So true enough, very easily, 70,000 people were able to take over Yemen, and they became basically controlling of that land. And there were some conflicts happening between Aryat and Abraha, and the army was about to be split among the two, until they decided, well, let's not drag the whole army into our own conflict. We'll have a duel. And in the beginning of that, duel, Aryat hit Abraha on his nose. That's why he was known as Abraha al-Ashram, Ashram with the cut nose. And then shortly after that, Abraha managed to kill Aryat, and then he took over basically the control of the whole army. The Najashi, the king of Abyssinia, heard of what happened, and he got really upset, angry that I did not send you there to divide, to fight among yourselves. And then Abraha got really scared. He was concerned about the response of the king of Abyssinia, so he sent him a message back, and he said basically that he was trying to divide, the army and all of that. Meanwhile, the Najashi had made a vow that I'm going to go to Yemen with a bigger even army, and I will not return until I cut the head of Abraha, and until I step with my feet on the soil of Yemen. So Abraha, when he heard of that, he got really scared, and he sent him a message back saying that, well, again, we were trying to spare the divisions and all of that, and here's a fatwa for you, so to speak. Here's basically to fulfill your vow. I had basically shaved my head, so I'm sending you my hair so you can step on it basically, and some soil from Yemen. This way you can step on it, and you don't have to basically come all the way here. Everything is going very smoothly. And then Najashi liked the idea. So everything basically happened that way. Meanwhile, Abraha was not, really feeling safe about the Najashi. So in order to please him, he built a huge church called al-Qulais. And he declared that with this huge church, I'm going to direct or divert all the Arabs away from Mecca, which was basically the focal house of worship for all of Arabia, even before Islam, toward Al-Qulais. So I'm going to basically bring them toward Al-Qulais. And at that time, even though it was a Jahiliyyah, but the Arabs were very passionate about the Kaaba. So one of the people from the people of An-Nasi'a, they're called, they used to play with the sequence of the sacred months, heard of what basically Abraha was trying to do. So he went in the middle of the night inside the church of Al-Qulais, and that he defecated in there inside the church as a way to desecrate it. And when Abraha heard of that, and he heard that this person who did that basically considered the Kaaba as a sacred place, so Abraha got really angry and upset, and he decided that, well, I'm gonna go and destroy the Kaaba. So he prepared a huge army with elephants, and then marched toward basically Al-Masjid al-Haram, toward the Kaaba, to destroy it. And here's the story of Al-Fil, the elephant that Allah mentioned in the Quran. And of course, in that same year, the greatest human being was born, Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam. So that's really what happened after that. And then one person actually from Yemen, meanwhile, named Saif bin Yazan, he did not like the fact that basically the Abyssinians were ruling Yemen. So he went around looking for help until he ended up with the king of Persia at that time. And he told them that, why don't you help us and we'll help you out. It's just a story that repeats itself, basically. And the king of Persia decided basically to send an army again to kick out the Abyssinians from Yemen, which is exactly actually what happened. and the Persians remained in control of Yemen until Islam actually entered Yemen after the migration of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. So this is what happened after the story. You know, I mentioned in an earlier episode that there will be life after the hardship. Life will continue even after the hardship, as bad as it is. That's what happened after Ashab al-Ukhdud, that eventually the people of Yemen actually embraced Islam at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, which happened not long after that story. Jazakumullah khair again, walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.